my broom?
Alright, finally, the last part of this series about pets. Okay, let's have a look at the Earth pets. I will have to admit, as a DPS character, I overlook most of these pets at the beginning of the game. But soon I would find out how important it is the sustain for different scenarios. Earth pets mostly focus on defensive skills such as healing, shields, buffs, and debuffs. For most PvE scenarios, like our daily activities, having a high damage seems to be more efficient, but it will be on the battlefield when survivability becomes crucial. Places like Starmont Battlefield, duels, or teamfights in general. So let's go directly to the SSRs. Okay, so Snow Bunny. Let's check Snow Protection. This skill will give you a 10-second shield based on a portion of your character max HP and the pet max HP. I will use my stats as an example. I have around 470k HP and my 12-star pet have roughly 12k HP. So, considering these percentages, it will result in a shield of around 11,500 HP, which is more or less 24-25% of my total HP bar. If we round it up, we're talking about a shield of potentially a fourth of your max HP. And that, my friends, can soak up a lot of damage. On top of that, this shield can also slow nearby enemies. And Bunny has an extra talent, Freeze, that has a small chance, 10%, to reduce movement speed by 50%. So that's a lot of debuff possibilities here. Now, on the not so bright side of things, using these skills means that you're being possessed by the bunny for 10 seconds. As a mage, this can prevent me from combo with other pet skills, but I still can cast my character skills and my basic attacks, so you would need to time it correctly. All in all, it provides good utility. If we check the base aptitudes, Bunny used to have the second best vitality aptitude, so he was good for this slot, which was purely for vitality. But with the new addition of the gem golem, he falls now to the third place. Still, I would keep a look on your copies, because Bunny can still be helpful here. If you're using bear or golem in your main team, then Bunny can take this slot. Otherwise, bird and golem offers better stats. For duel scenario, Bunny can be a good opener, since most people open up with a strong damaging combo or some sort of crowd control. Bunny can help you absorb a good chunk of that damage. And it can be also helpful when chasing your enemies if you are a melee attacker, since it will allow you to slow them down while you cut them. I used to see more Bunny users before. I still think it provides good utility for battle, particularly for scenarios where you can play with a full pet team, like a 1v1 or a Starman Battlefield. But if it's a team fight where you can only pick one pet, like some martial battles or honor tower, then of course there are better choices. Okay, who's next? Let's group all the pets that work with possession mechanic. That would be bunny, armored bear, diamond dragon, and gem golem. Let's go with the bear. So, spike armor, it's also shield that lasts 10 seconds, but with different percentages. It would give you 8% of your character HP and 39% of your pet HP. And with the same stats that I was using for the bunny, this shield would be of 85,570 HP, which is roughly 18% of your HP bar, which is considerably less than the bunny, 24-25%, but with the huge difference that this shield reflects 50% damage, and that's quite a lot if your rivals drop a full attack on you. Let's imagine that your enemies cast an angel's divine judge on you, then he would be eating half of his own damage for free. So let's say I have an angel that it's 12 stars and it has 10k damage. So that skill will be dealing 117,000. My shield would protect me for around 85k, so I would be injured for only 32k, while my reflex shield would give back more than 58. So, okay, there are many variables that can change these numbers, but the idea is pretty clear. Even when the shield is not as strong as bunnies, bear can make your enemies regret they even target you. Overall, I would say bear is a pretty balanced option for any class, offering you both survivability and damage. And just like the bunny, the possession effect allows you to cast your own skills, but not to switch pets. So if you're looking to burst your enemies, using bear would slow down the tempo of your combo. But on maps like Starmount Battlefield or teamfights in general, where you can be targeted by multiple enemies, bear can prove to be ultra effective. I would also add, it's still a better choice for melee characters, swordmen and rogues, because they need to move towards the front line, while mages and archers should remain away from the enemy fire. So bear would only become helpful if you're being focused. Or if you're an oracle, then you're definitely going to be focused. With most teams will focus the healer first. So armor bear can be pretty useful for those situations. Plus, he used to have the best vitality, aptitude, vitality and defense, perfect for this slot, this one. But now with the gem golem, he falls to the second place. Alright, now this guy, Diamond Dragon. This one has been very popular among high rank players for a while. He's not so meta anymore, now that we have more UR options. But Diamond Ward will give you invincibility, making you immune to damage and debuffs. For instance, a 12-star Diamond Dragon grants you 4 seconds of that invincible shield. So he will be perfect to help you wait for the cooldown of your skills. As a mage, after you drop your combo of skills, then you're very vulnerable with only your basic attack. And it might seem like 3 or 4 seconds is too short, but if you time it correctly, you can soak up a lot of damage. Especially in the last moments of a duel, where you might be heavily injured, those extra seconds of immunity can turn the tides in your favor. As I said before, this skill also works as a possession, but of course it's a shorter one, and additionally it has not one but two extra talent. Bless, that has a small chance 10% to revive with half HP, and Defense, that would increase your physical defense based on the level of your pet. Like my dragon has 180 level, so it would be giving me a little bit over 1k of physical defense. And in a world filled with rogues and swordmen, any physical defense can be useful. Okay, now the newcomer, Gem Golem. He looks freaking cool. He gives you, the gem armor gives you 6 seconds of a shell that gives damage reduction. I have not tried Golem with a higher evolution level, but even at 6 stars, 45% damage reduction will provide a lot of sustain. I've been asking around, and at 9 stars it will give 60%, and it can get up to 70% of damage reduction, and that's a lot. So if you're going for a tanky build, this one is a great option. I see him working well on a balanced team. But we're going to talk a bit more about team composition at the end. Also, consider that there are certain skills that can ignore all kind of defenses. So your shell would become pointless, like if you're facing a Valkyrie descent from the legendary rune. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid pet. Now let's go with the healers. Well, they do more than just heal. Let's check Sweetford. Sweetheart. It does two things. It will buff your team for 4% of your physical or magical damage for 5 seconds of your whole 5 members, and will recover your HP for, well, this amount, these percentages. That would be roughly close to 9% of your max HP, which might seem small, but we're talking about a group buff. So the whole team would be healed for a bit, plus the damage buff. I would say it's definitely an Oracle pet. Plus these group buffs are superb for teamfight scenarios. Another good thing about this pet is the range it has. It gives him higher chances to survive in maps like Gem Wars, where other close range pets would tower dive and die, but not Sweetford. He's more likely to survive for a little bit longer, considering the range it has. If you're not an Oracle, I really don't see why would you use it. And now lastly, one of my favorites, Spirit of Nature. He's completely overlooked by many, yet is a really fun one to use. The purification skill will heal you for a certain amount based on your pet magic attack. If you have a 12-star Spirit of Nature, you can get healed for close to 18% of your max HP, which, to be honest, is not much. Yet, the main thing with this pet is the control removal. It will cleanse you from all debuffs and increase your control resist for 5 seconds. So when facing rogues or swordmen, this one can be a lifesaver. You will get stunned and be surrounded by shadows or Faith Leap, and those combos are really painful. So being able to heal for a little bit, but mainly to move away from the crowd control, now that is priceless. Even when the cooldown is from 30 seconds, You can speed up that cycle by using the cooldown reduction of your skill pet tab. In case you're not familiar with that, it's right here. It's this one, the pet trainer. It will reduce 3 seconds, so you would only have to wait 27 to cycle your Spirit of Nature, as long as it's not dead. So yeah, mainly the healing is meh, but in a duel, every beat can help, but it's mainly about the cleanse with this pet. Alright, let's talk a little bit about pet team composition. If you want to perform as a DPS character, then you might wonder why would you look into these pets. Most PvE scenarios can be played as a team, where you can get the support of a healer, which would allow you to go all out on damage output. Like, let's consider the most obvious example would be Oremine. There is no point in using a blue pet there. But maybe if you're tackling a strong beast, then a pet like Armor Bear could be very useful. Or regarding PvP, particularly 1v1, during the early to mid game, I would suggest to at least have one earth pet for your team. Me as a mage, well, we're rather squishy, and it won't matter how high your damage is if you cannot survive enough time to deliver it. And once you get your hands into some UR pets, like the fairy dragon or flame wielder, then you will get more sustain and utilities while still providing damage, so you will not depend as much on defensive skills from earth pets. But then again, it would be boring if everybody uses the same pet team, which is why it's refreshing to find people trying different things, like a triple earth pet team for rogue. I've seen GG from EST1 using one, and I always wonder if that could work for other classes as well. Or they used to be more common to find a tanky build for swordmen, and it seemed pretty effective, especially if you are free to play, because you can mainly focus on evolving your blue pets. Or, well, if you're a white sage, you will end up playing as a tank as well, going full endurance. And if you add a couple of earth pets in the mix, you will walk around like a mighty mid shield. When it comes to pet composition, there is a lot to be considered, and there is a lot of trying out in order to find what suits you best. I would keep switching things around just to refresh the enjoyment, even if you have some UR pets that can get the job done. Yes, talking about pet teams might be a video in itself, just to talk about that. But for now, I think this series is complete, and if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment. I will reply as soon as I can. And thank you for watching and listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.